Hello and welcome to the Fitness Professor. Today, I would like to talk to you about whether different exercises also train different portions of the muscles. For years, perhaps for decades, I have been repeatedly asked these questions, even by my students. Do these exercises target or train different portions of the muscles regionally differently, or stimulate muscle growth compared to other exercises? And this is not an easy topic at all. A very nice new study has just been published by my well-known colleague from New York, Brad Schoenfeld, and his entire research team around him. And they have dedicated themselves to the topic and looked at how it is with two different exercises concerning the leg muscles. I would like to briefly introduce this study to you. Yes, the initial focus was on how it is when I have multi-joint or compound exercises versus single joint or isolation exercises. Is there a difference? And here, for example, the leg press was compared to the leg extension in terms of quadriceps growth. Furthermore, the calf muscles have been examined and two different pairs of exercises have been looked at. I will briefly explain them to you now. Anyone who wants to take a closer look at the method of this study can now pause briefly and examine it at their leisure. I have written down again in which order or in which configuration the right and left leg have been compared here. They trained with 28 very young individuals who were quite fit. They did it over 8 weeks, training twice a week and performing 4 sets of each exercise with 8 to 12 bars repetitions, taking a 2-minute break in between. So, a standard hypertrophy training can certainly be carried out for these respective muscles. Muscle thickness was measured using ultrasound, specifically on the relevant muscles being discussed here. And as you might briefly see here, the leg press was mostly used on the left leg and the leg extension on the right leg, or vice versa, for the quadriceps, and similarly, the seated calf raise, which is the bent knee, versus the straight leg, toe press, which is the extended leg. And you all know, or at least suspect, the difference. It is often said that when the knee is bent, the soleus muscle, that deep, flat muscle, has to work a bit harder, and we are going to take a look right now to see if that is the case. Yes, perhaps for those who are particularly interested in the results, just press stop here. You can take a closer look at the results. I would find it a bit boring if I were to read out all 2001 of you individually. Let's just take a look at the results in the graphic. And if you just look to the left side, you will see, for example, the results regarding the quadriceps. And then here are the results for the leg press. The leg press has clearly allowed the vastus lateralis to grow more. So this is the upper result. What is that? Blue mint. And the effect size was also determined to be around 0.2 here. This is not a large effect size, rather a smaller one, but still significant. And below you can see the rectus femoris, which was more strongly activated by the leg extension exercise and enjoyed a comparable preference. Yes, on the right side you can see the lateral gastrocnemius at the top, the medial gastrocnemius in the middle, and the soleus at the bottom. And yes, one could certainly say that there are at least tendencies indicating that with the straight leg, meaning the extended leg, the gastrocnemius is trained somewhat more intensely. However, it is also limited. The effect is a bit more pronounced with the medial, while it is somewhat less with the lateral. But what I just mentioned, this classic idea that the soleus is trained more in a bent position, is not the case according to this study after these 8 weeks, and in relation to hypertrophy. It seems to grow more or less equally with both methods. An interesting study, if you ask me. As a conclusion, one could say that it is indeed possible to train different portions of muscles through different exercises. In this case, as just discussed regarding the quadriceps muscle, it is, for example, so that the leg extension tends to promote the growth of the rectus femoris, while the leg press is more likely to target the lateral portion of the quadriceps. And with the calf muscles, as just discussed, minimal differences can be observed. My personal conclusion here is that one should regularly incorporate a variety of exercises into their training to continuously challenge their body, and therefore it is important to change things up more often. Thank you indeed for listening. And 2001.